Today on Search and Restore, it's a new day, a new build team, and a renewal for this 10-year-old TJ. Our team heads to the Deep South to meet a family who's all about off-roading and hear how these dedicated wheelers put smiles on some deserving faces. So far in our quest to give back to viewers who need a helping hand, we turned a Chevy 2 into a dream come true for a single dad and his 3 kids. Then this Ohio father of 7 saw his daily driver morphed into a 4x4 from another dimension. For our third round project, we pointed the tow rig south, past some famous gates in Memphis, across the swollen Mississippi River to northeast Louisiana and the town of West Monroe. Meet the Smelser family, Jason and his girls.
I want a Jeep to be fixed so we could go mud riding and rock crawling and stuff.
10-year-old Haley encouraged Dad to send in his application for our makeover. They watch the Powerblock every weekend and spend the rest of their free time enjoying God's green earth, especially in their TJ.
They love the Jeep. We got to take the Jeep everywhere.
I think this Jeep means a lot to my dad. It's like one of his favorite things ever.
Every time something goes wrong on a transmission goes out or whatever.
This right here? Oh my gosh, it's starting!
She's always the first one to threaten, well, we're going to sell it. Can't have this Jeep no more. And I tell her, I am not selling this Jeep no matter what happens to it.
Jason and his friends share their love of four-wheeling in a very special way. For 9 consecutive Sundays each summer, they volunteer at Med Camps of Louisiana, a summer camp for children with special needs. Often boys and girls battling mental and physical disorders are unable to participate in normal childhood activities. But at Med Camps, over 300 kids get a real summer camp experience full of outdoor fun. One of those activities? ATV rides.
And this one little boy, he wanted to ride on my four-wheeler, and we loaded him up, got his helmet on him, took off down the road, and as soon as I took off, he went to screaming, and not just normal scream. It was kind of screaming you thought you done hurt him. I thought he burned his leg, something, I don't know. I pulled over, said, "Are you okay?" And he had cerebral palsy really bad. He couldn't talk very well. He was having some motor skill problems, and but I could understand him say, "Go, go, go." So I thought, okay, we're good. So I took off again. We drove a little ways and got down the trail, and I got on the gas a little bit, and he went to screaming again. And I thought I'd really hurt him that time. I mean, he really screamed, and it scared me. I pulled over and checked on him, said, "Hey, are you okay?" And he's grinning from ear to ear, just all smiles. He's laughing, he's hitting me on the back, telling me, "Go, go, go." And I'm like, well, it's on now. And I hit the gas, and it was all fun from there. We hit the pasture, we went across the levee, through the ditch, come back around, went through the pasture again. He's screaming the whole way, just he's having the time of his life. We get back up to the rec hall to rotate out the next kid, and I noticed when I pull up there's this lady, and she's standing up against the rec building, and she's watching us. And I noticed she had her mouth covered, and I pulled up, and I realized then it was the little boy's mama. And we got the little boy off, and he ran to go play with his friends. Gave his mom a hug and ran away. And she come up to me, and she gave me a hug. And she told me, she thanked me, and she said, "You know, out of all my son's life, I've never seen him laugh like that." And she broke down and cried, and hell, I did too. So that's my favorite story. And that's what's got me hooked. And ain't nothing gonna pull me away from it. That's it.
His family also shares Dad's passion for helping others, but it's the girls who are often left at the trailhead due to the Jeep's limitations. Skinny tires, no lift. Just a few parts keep Jason and his family separated.
There's a Jeep, baby! Hey! Hey, Jason?
Yeah.
It's Tim from Search and Restore. I brought Ian
sir.
from Xtreme 4x4.
How you doing, Jason?
Nice to meet
Nice
you,
to
man.
meet you,
Nice
man.
to meet you for sure.
Wow.
We were really touched by the story you sent in about you helping all the kids and everything, so we're gonna take that Jeep right there and fix it up for you.
Man, I really...
Hey, everybody!
Come on out.
No excitement at all?
I heard all that screaming inside, but it's quiet now that we're outside. What's going on?
So we're gonna freshen the motor, give it some clearance, turn it into the dual-purpose rig they've always dreamed of. A good deed done for a Powerblock viewer who gives more than he receives. Next, a little Louisiana hospitality before the guys snatch the Jeep and begin teardown. Stay tuned.
Feel bad for them. They don't know a lot of wheeling guys are just getting ready to eat them. Louisiana was a blast, even though we were only there for just a few hours. Jason and his buddies surprised the crew by putting on a traditional crawfish boil for us. Never had crawfish before. When I was growing up in Illinois, we did used to catch them in the creek sometimes and keep them as pets. We never really did eat them though.
There you go.
Wow, our Jeep's gonna be gone. I'm gonna miss the Jeep. Poor Jeep.
This is the best thing that could ever happen to our family. This is just a dream come true.
I never thought this would happen. Man, I really appreciate you guys doing this for us. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool family, getting to hang out with them for a while too.
I think so, and it's pretty typical four-wheeling group. You know, you got guys from all walks of life. You know, obviously that one guy where we ate the crawfish at his place is a pretty nice spread out there.
Yeah, we'll get this thing back to the studio, get it out, get it in, get it up on the lift, look at it. I think it looks pretty solid.
You're not gonna sandblast. You're not gonna send this out to a blaster and get a sandblast
no.
and stuff. It's just.
I'm not even gonna prime and block the whole thing.
I would-
Did you hear that? I'm not gonna prime and block the whole thing.
That's a little crazy if you ask me, but I think you finally made the right decision.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've never been around this stuff that much, but I really like fab and tube work and all that stuff. You know, I'm not just a paint and body guy. So I really enjoy this build.
Let's go dump it.
Tim and Ian have plenty of company waiting inside the tech center, including a talented team of volunteers ready to tear into the TJ. Not to mention the guys from Horsepower.
Here it is, boys.
How you doing, man?
We have a couple guys here from Industrial Depot that supplies our hardware and bolts here for the show. And then we have a whole bunch of guys that Ian brought in from essentially Offroad. Let's put her up on the lift, boys. Get a look from the underneath. And they are awesome craftsmen. So I'm really looking forward to working with these guys. I don't have a drain pan.
It's a good Jeep. It's not that bad. Frame's good on it. We got something to work with. With the crew on it, it'll be torn down in no time. This is normal territory for us.
Oil pan's beat up a little bit. It's got a new water pump, but it's just old and wore out. So with everything else that's going to be replaced on the Jeep, we're going to go ahead and rebuild the motor too for them, make sure it goes through the swamp and doesn't break down.
These four-wheel drive guys in the last build didn't label anything, and all they had was like buckets full of bolts. Couldn't find anything, we put it back together.
Here, Mike, will you label this for me? The part that's the best about this whole teardown is Tim put all that stuff in baggies. We're not reusing any of that.
In a matter of minutes, the body and chassis of the Jeep are ready to part company. Whoa! Now the body can sit on a rolling cart for the remainder of its teardown.
Transfer case, that's garbage. Both axles, garbage. All the suspension's garbage. So basically what we're keeping off here is the motor, the frame, gas tank, and this little rubber thing right there. I'll find a spot for that.
Coming up, the boys attack the frame with vengeance and get it ready for a custom link setup. And Mike and John give their assessment on the Straight Six. Stay tuned.
Oh yeah.
The first day went really well. We had a whole bunch of people here ready to pitch in and tear this thing down. Our goal is to give Jason a really cool Jeep, and something when he sees it, he's just gonna be speechless. To freshen up the motor, who better to do it than the Horsepower guys?
The 4-liter we pulled out of the Jeep is a 242 cubic inch inline 6. They have a reputation for being very reliable and one of the best off-road engines for a 4-wheel drive ever.
We'll get the valve cover off, oil pan, bouncer, timing chain cover, and then we're just basically down to a long block. Put all that stuff in the washer and let it start soaking.
I'm hoping, this is what I'm gonna hope. He changed the oil on a regular basis so we don't have a lot of buildup.
Let's see. Yeah.
Not bad.
Honestly, I expected about an inch.
Pan's got a little bit of sludge in it, but nothing major.
This is why we're gonna bake and shot peen this block. It'll clean out the inside water galleys, which is only gonna make this thing cool that much better.
See how these journals look. Oh yeah. Man, this thing is almost perfect. Smooth as can be. Very nice.
Over on the main shop floor, our volunteers are ripping into the frame of Jason's Jeep.
Basically what we have is 2 frame rails, nothing else. We're gonna do a completely fabricated 4-link front and rear. It'll be all custom. We're using Spider Tracks 9-inch axles, true high 9s. This thing's gonna be unbelievable. Probably way more than he's expecting.
And our expectations for the frame? Very uplifting. Time to get started with the skid plate for the belly and the fuel tank.
We're gonna stuff the whole thing and
Build the suspension at full stuff. It's the easiest. That way you can work around any clearance issues such as the drive shaft, shocks. Always the best way to do it.
All right, well, I'm 52 and 9/16 right there.
That's as high as the axles will travel, and everything is custom built around them. Like these 14-inch tall shock towers.
I just kind of come up and roll them back in, like a pair of them.
So who are these Picassos of hardened steel and plasma cutters? They're hand-picked by Jimmy Penner, owner of Essentially Off-Road, known throughout the southern U.S. as the go-to guy of suspension design for hardcore wheeling. He and his crew have thousands of custom suspension systems running in everything from daily drivers, weekend wheelers, hardcore crawlers, to high-end Ultra 4 race cars. When he heard about Jason, he brought his A-team.
I got a great crew here with me today. We got Morgan Shepherd, awesome. He's been with me for 3 years. I got Jonathan Coleman, best mechanic you've ever seen. Derrick Cleek, he's just our general help in the shop. Anywhere from mechanic just to drilling holes, he's real good. Got Bill and his son helping out here today. Always happy to have them along.
We started with the top end, tearing it down, getting all the valve train out of it. Everything looked perfect up top. Got the head off, bores looked good, top of the pistons looked great. As we got down further and further, I mean, we didn't find anything wrong. Cam bearings, rod bearings. Oh my God, wait till you see this bearing. If I saw this come off a shelf, I'd say it's a brand new bearing. Everything were almost in perfect shape. I wouldn't have been afraid to run another 100,000. The oil and everything looked really good, so Jason took care of this thing doing regular oil changes and filter changes.
Did you see yourself with a permanent smile?
Nah, not really.
The man they call Dirt does. We'll meet him after the break.
I just can't have it.
Our Jeep Thrash is well underway, and by the end of this day, our build team is hoping to have the tub trimmed and fitted on a frame sporting custom link suspension. With the shock towers in place, along with the cross member, simple masking tape will help lay out the 3 links for the front suspension and 4 more out back.
Really no out-of-the-box suspension system that's going to handle hardcore off-roading for the specific type of wheeling that Jason wants to do. He's hanging with guys with big blocks, tube buggies, and Rockwells. So it's a stretch to get this Jeep to be able to run that same trails, but with a custom suspension, the right set of tires, good axles, he'll do it.
Well, in the last couple builds, we kind of went over the top on paint, body, fit, and finish. This thing's gonna get scrubbed against trees, rocks, all kinds of stuff, so I just don't have it in me to totally cut and rub and polish every square inch of this thing, because I'd probably cry a little bit once I see it after they scrape it against a tree or roll it down a hillside. It's got just a couple dents in the body that we're gonna fix. It has no rust holes. So we got the body tub down in the prep station right now. The industrial depot guys are down there helping me, cleaning out the interior.
Running some Scotch-Brite pads around, scuffing it up, getting it ready for some liner in the bed and some underneath the body. Cutting out some of the rocker panels so they can put the armor on and have that ready.
The father and son team of Brian and Zach Darr traveled from Illinois to donate their time and skill. A love of Jeeps runs deep in their family.
I've got a collection of Jeeps. I try to keep them running. I don't know where I got that bug from. I've had it since I was little. Me, the wife, and all 3 kids had one at one time. The best time was when we could take the top off and go riding and take the old country roads. We just enjoy it. Yeah, I love doing off-road and I love going mudding.
You'd think it might bother Zach knowing that his body work will probably get beaten up. But off-roaders have a more relaxed perspective on things.
I'd probably do the same thing. I'm restoring a Jeep myself, and I'll probably end up tearing it up after I do it, which I don't want to, but I know it's gonna happen.
More links, more rod ends, plus some heavy-duty shocks. And the body was ready to go back on to check clearances. Now, all of our volunteers this week brought in a ton of experience, but one in particular brought us a continuous smile.
Dirt, Joe Dirt is what we call him because of striking resemblance to the movie star.
Look at that. That is like mullet Hall of Fame right there. Good for you.
He's always smiling, and we kind of describe that as ignorance is bliss.
I guess he's just happy with life. I don't know. Dirt kind of just smiles when you're talking about him or making fun of him. He never really says anything, especially if there's a camera around. He kind of just smiles and turns his head. It's kind of good having him around.
Everybody comes across, don't smile, don't smile. That just brings it out when I tell me not to do it. I just can't have it.
I think he wakes up in the same mood that he goes to bed in every day.
He's smiling right now, actually.
Keeps morale up, keeps everybody in a good mood, and he's just a pleasure to be around.
Yeah, you got to smile to keep from crying sometimes, so I just smile all the time. Is that good?
Something else.
Next time on Search and Restore.
Which way am I trying to go?
Tim kissed some rocks and he liked it.
Hello, ground.
Ian gives our paint booth prince an introduction to four-wheeling he'll never forget. Plus, more donated parts arrive, along with more volunteers charged with creating this hardcore work of art on wheels.
Look hot. Is that the word for this build? It'll look hot? I think that, what's her name? The lady that looks like a drowned rat, she has that trademark, I think.
Oh, let's go with Wicked Awesome.
Wicked Awesome sounds better than, oh, it's hot.